My father fired me at 10:36 on a Thursday morning. He did it in front of the entire company. By 3:15 that afternoon, the state had frozen every active job we had. At 4023, inspectors entered our warehouse with badges, evidence bags, and an order, shutting down Hartwell Environmental Services. My father called me 22 times. His final voicemail said, "Claire, whatever you told them, take it back." I listened to it in my car outside a coffee shop. Then I sent him one sentence. "I didn't tell them anything today. I only stopped letting you use my name. My name is Claire Hartwell. I was 38 years old, and for 11 years, my family had described me as the daughter who sat in an office while everyone else did the real work. The company removed asbestos lead paint mold and contaminated insulation from schools, hospitals, apartment buildings, and government offices across North Carolina. My father, Martin Hartwell, had founded it with 2 trucks and 6 workers. He was loud, charming, and fearless around clients. He could walk into a room where everyone was panicking about a contaminated building and convince them he had everything under control. Usually I was the reason he did. I was a certified industrial hygienist and the company's licensed qualifying supervisor. My credentials allowed Hartwell Environmental to bid on large regulated projects, approve containment plans, review laboratory results, and certify that hazardous areas were safe to reopen. My father called that paperwork. My younger half-brother Logan called me the expensive secretary. My stepmother Cheryl preferred softer language. She said I was more comfortable with forms than people. Cheryl handled public relations and human resources. She had no degree in either one, but she understood something more useful. She knew how to make the person telling the truth look cruel. The first crack appeared 6 months before I was fired. We were removing asbestos-containing insulation from Roosevelt Middle School during summer break. The contract was worth $2.2 million, and the school had to reopen in 5 weeks. One Monday morning, I was reviewing air monitoring results when I saw a number that made me stop breathing. The fiber count outside the containment zone was above the legal clearance limit. I checked the sample identification, then I checked it again. The result meant contaminated air might have escaped into a hallway connecting the cafeteria and gym. I called Miguel Santos, our senior field supervisor. "Where are you?" "In the decontamination trailer." "Stop work." He was silent for half a second. "What happened?" "Exterior air sample failed." "That's impossible." "I'm looking at the lab report." "Which location?" "North hallway." Miguel swore softly. "I'll lock it down." 5 minutes later, Logan called. "What did you do?" "I stopped work." "Why?" "Failed air sample. We're already 3 days behind." "Then now we're 4 days behind." He lowered his voice. "The school superintendent is touring the site at noon." "Then the hallway needs to remain closed." "Retest it." "We will." "Use another lab." "Number." "Claire, one bad sample doesn't mean contamination. It means we investigate. It means the lab tech sneezed near a microscope." I looked at the report. "Logan, the sample is 4 times the clearance limit. So nobody enters that hallway." He laughed. "You love this." "What?" "Being the one person who gets to stop everything. I would love not finding asbestos outside containment." "You know what I mean." "Yes. You mean rules become personal when they interfere with your schedule." He hung up. 20 minutes later, my father entered my office without knocking. He was 64, broad-shouldered, silver-haired, and still carried himself like a man who expected rooms to rearrange around him. "Release the site." "Number." "Logan says the test is questionable." Logan does not understand air sampling. He understands the contract. The contract requires legal clearance. Dad closed the door. "You know what this delay costs." "Yes. $30,000 a day." "I know." "The school board is already looking for reasons to blame us. Then, hiding a failed sample would give them an excellent one." His face hardened. "I didn't say hide it. What are you asking me to do?" "Use judgment." "I am." "No. You're using fear." I stared at him. "My job is to be afraid of invisible fibers that cause cancer." His jaw tightened. That tone. "What tone?" "The one that says, everyone else is stupid." "I didn't say anyone was stupid." "You don't have to. You make people feel it. Cheryl appeared at the door. She had probably been listening. She entered slowly, holding a legal pad. Martin, don't let this become emotional. I almost laughed. He was shouting. I was sitting, but I was the emotional one. Cheryl turned toward me. Claire, your father is asking for flexibility. The law is not flexible. Her eyes softened. That statement is exactly why field employees feel you don't respect them. What field employees? Several. Names. I'm not going to expose people who came to me privately. Then describe the complaint. They feel you look for reasons to undermine Logan. This is about a failed air test. To you. I looked between them. What is it about to you? Cheryl sighed. Succession. There it was. My father wanted Logan to become president. Logan wanted the title. Cheryl wanted her son in control. And every safety issue I raised became evidence that I was jealous. Dad placed both hands on my desk. Run another sample. We already are. Keep the crews working in the sealed area. Number. The failed result was outside containment. Exactly. If the problem is outside, the workers inside can continue. That is not how containment failure works. He straightened. I built this company, and I am the licensed person responsible for this decision. The room went completely quiet. My father hated that sentence. He hated any sentence reminding him that his company required something he did not personally own. Cheryl's eyes filled. You see, she whispered. See what? How she speaks to you. Dad pointed toward me. If the second sample passes, you will document that the first was laboratory error. No, I will document both results and the corrective action. Claire, that is my answer. The second sample failed too. Miguel found a damaged negative air duct above a ceiling panel. Fibers had leaked into the hallway. The school remained closed for 8 additional days while we cleaned the area. No students were exposed. The superintendent later thanked us for catching the problem. My father never mentioned that. Instead, Cheryl sent an internal email praising Logan for guiding the Roosevelt team through a testing discrepancy created by overly cautious preliminary data. My name appeared once. Claire assisted with final documentation. I walked into Cheryl's office holding a printed copy. What is this? She glanced at the page. A project update. You made it sound like I caused the delay. I made it sound like leadership solved a problem. Logan wanted the site kept open. That is your interpretation. Miguel heard him. Miguel heard a stressful conversation. The result failed. Twice, and the issue was corrected. Because I stopped work. She folded her hands. Claire, must every success become proof that you were right? When people rewrite the failure. Yes, her smile disappeared. You are becoming increasingly difficult. Is that an HR statement or a family statement? Both. 2 days later, I received my first formal warning. It accused me of poor communication, excessive disruption, and failure to support executive leadership. I wrote beneath it. I stopped regulated work after 2 failed air samples. The containment breach was later confirmed. Cheryl refused to include my response in the personnel file. I emailed it to myself. That was the beginning of my evidence folder. I called it Blue Room after the storage room in our first office, where my father used to hide bad invoices until he had enough money to pay them. At first, the folder contained only the warning and the Roosevelt lab reports. Then more things happened. The next one involved a bonus check. Our company had received a $180,000 performance bonus from a hospital renovation project. I recommended distributing part of it to the field crews who had worked nights for 4 months. Logan opposed it. He wanted to use the money for 3 new company trucks. The crews earned it, I said in the leadership meeting. They earned their wages, Logan replied. They worked 17 weekends. They volunteered. They were told the deadline was mandatory. My father leaned back. Trucks make money. Workers keep them moving. Logan smirked. You've never replaced a containment wall at 2 in the morning. No. I've answered the state inspector at 2 in the morning because you used the wrong disposal manifest. Cheryl inhaled sharply. Claire. What? That was unnecessary. It happened. My father rubbed his temple. How much do you want to give them? $75,000. Logan laughed. That's insane. We promised a project completion incentive. Verbally. Miguel was standing near the door. He had been invited because he represented the field team. He said, The crews remember. Logan turned. This is a leadership meeting. You asked me to attend. I didn't ask you to comment on compensation. Miguel's face hardened. I said he is here because the compensation concerns his crew. Dad slammed one hand on the table. Enough. 50,000 to employees. The rest goes toward vehicles. It was not fair, but it was something. 3 weeks later, the crew bonuses still had not been paid. I asked Wade Ellis, our controller, for the transaction report. Wade was careful pale and always smelled faintly of peppermint. The funds were reallocated, he said. To what? Operating needs. Which? I'd have to check. Check now. He gave me an irritated look. Claire. I don't report to you. You report financial compliance to the qualifying supervisor when funds affect regulated projects. This was a bonus. It was contract revenue. He looked toward the door. Then he lowered his voice. Ask your father. I did. Dad was in the warehouse admiring a black luxury pickup with Logan. Nice truck, I said. Logan smiled. Executive package. How much? None of your business. I looked at the temporary plate. Did you use the hospital bonus? My father turned. Do not start. The crews haven't been paid. They will be. When? When cash flow improves. You used promised bonus money for trucks. We needed vehicles. You bought Logan a $70,000 pickup. It represents the company. The men wearing respirators represent the company. Logan stepped closer. Why do you hate me? I don't. You attack everything Dad gives me. I'm asking where the crew's money went. He shook his head sadly. You can't stand seeing anyone valued. Cheryl appeared behind us with her phone. She was recording. I noticed too late. Say that again, I told Logan. What? That I hate you. He looked at Cheryl's phone. Then his expression changed. He stepped backward. See, this is what I mean. She scares me. Cheryl lowered the phone and moved beside him. Claire, look at your brother. I am looking at him. He feels threatened by a question about money. Dad stepped between us. Go home. I'm working. You're done today. Are you suspending me? Go home before you say something you regret. Cheryl posted a 30-second clip that evening. It showed me saying, "The men wearing respirators represent the company," followed by Logan saying, "Why do you hate me?" The part about the missing bonus was removed. The caption read, "Leadership becomes painful when resentment enters the workplace. Please keep our family in your prayers." Employees began commenting. Logan works harder than anyone. Some people only know how to criticize. Office people don't understand sacrifice. Miguel called me. They're angry. At me. At whoever has a face attached to the story. Did anyone receive a bonus? Number. Then why defend Logan? Because admitting you're right means admitting they got played. The next morning, I requested the company's vehicle purchase records. Wade said they were confidential. I asked for the hospital project ledger. He sent a PDF with 3 pages missing. I asked again. He stopped answering. Then, a message appeared in the employee group. An anonymous account claimed I had redirected part of the bonus into a private consulting company. The post included a screenshot of a $40,000 payment to CM Environmental Review. CM were my initials. The rumor spread within an hour. Logan posted, "I'm heartbroken." I defended my sister for years, Cheryl replied with a broken heart emoji. Dad called me into his office. Tell me you didn't take the money. I didn't. The payment is there. CM Environmental Review is not my company. Then whose is it? I don't know. Wade sat beside him. He looked nervous. I placed my phone on the desk. Call the bank. Dad frowned. What? Call the bank and request the account owner. Cheryl leaned forward. Why are you so calm? Would you prefer panic? I would prefer concern. I am concerned that someone created a vendor using my initials. Logan laughed. That is convenient. I looked at Wade. Who entered the vendor? The system shows your login. I was in Richmond at a licensing conference on that date. You can access remotely. I did not. Dad pointed at me. Until we resolve this, you're removed from financial review. You're removing my access after a payment was created under my login. Yes, that destroys the audit trail. No, it protects it. Cheryl nodded. That is a responsible decision. I looked at each of them. Then I stood. Call the bank. Dad said nothing. I called from the hallway. The account belonged to Carolina Materials Environmental Review, LLC. Its registered agent was Wade's brother-in-law. The money had not gone to me. It had paid a down payment on the black pickup. I printed the public registration record and bank confirmation. Before I could present it, Cheryl sent another company email. She said preliminary concerns about my conduct had been resolved through a private family discussion. No apology. No correction. No explanation of who actually received the money. When I confronted Dad, he said Wade had made a coding error. A $40,000 coding error that bought Logan's truck. The company owns the truck. Why did Wade use a related vendor? Tax planning. Does our accountant know? Dad looked away. I added everything to Blue Room. The anonymous accusation, the vendor registration, the bank confirmation, the video clip, the missing bonus. That was when I stopped believing these incidents were spontaneous. Someone was building a public record against me while creating a financial record under my name. The third battle involved a school clearance report. A charter school called Cedar Grove had hired us to remove lead paint from a kindergarten wing. The project finished on a Friday. On Saturday morning, Logan called me. We need the clearance letter. I don't have the dust wipe results. They're clean. Where are they? Wade says the lab portal is down. Then we wait. The school opens Monday. Then they should have scheduled more time. Claire. No result, no clearance. He lowered his voice. Dad already told them it passed. Then Dad spoke too early. He needs the letter in 30 minutes. He isn't getting one. I hung up. At 10:12, an email went to the school from my company account. Attached was a signed clearance letter bearing my digital seal. The letter said all samples were below regulatory limits. I had not sent it. I called the school principal. Do not reopen the kindergarten wing. She sounded confused. We just received your approval. It was not sent by me. Your signature is on it. It is unauthorized. There was a long silence. Miss Hartwell, are the rooms safe? I don't know yet. She began breathing quickly. We have an open house in 2 hours. Cancel it. Then I called Miguel. Where are the original samples? In the lab courier box. Were they picked up? He checked. Number. The samples had never left the job site. Someone had issued clearance before testing them. I called the state environmental office, not to report my family, to report an unauthorized use of my certification as required by my license. Investigator Dana Cho answered. Is there an immediate exposure risk? She asked. Potentially. Are children present? Not yet. Secure the site. Preserve all communications. My father called while I was still speaking with Dana. I ignored him. He called again, then Logan, then Cheryl. By noon, the school had canceled its open house. By 1, Cheryl posted a video. She stood outside Cedar Grove crying. A painful internal dispute has forced this school to cancel an event for families, she said. We are working with authorities to correct misinformation spread by a former-minded employee. Former-minded. Not former employee. She wanted people to believe I had already emotionally abandoned the company. Local parents flooded the school's page. Some blamed us. Most blamed me, after Logan commented that one person had chosen technical revenge. My father finally reached me. You called the state. I reported unauthorized use of my license. The rooms are clean. The samples are still at the job site. Logan used a previous result for another building. The surfaces were identical. That is not testing. You are trying to humiliate him. I am trying to stop children from entering an untested room. He shouted, "They are safe!" How do you know? Silence. Then he said, because I trust my son. I closed my eyes. Then put his signature on the letter. He hung up. The actual lab results arrived Monday. 3 samples failed. Lead dust remained on window troughs and 1 classroom floor. The school required re-cleaning. No children were exposed. Again, I was right. Again, it did not matter, Cheryl's public statement said. Additional cleaning was performed after Claire's premature escalation created unnecessary fear. My father issued a written warning accusing me of damaging a client relationship and violating the chain of command. I refused to sign it. Cheryl leaned across the conference table. You have become impossible to manage. I am the person legally responsible for clearance. You use legality as a shield. Against what? Accountability. For refusing to certify a test that did not exist. She began crying. Dad looked at me with disgust. Why do you always push until she cries? I laughed once. I should not have. Cheryl covered a face. Logan stood. There. That's who she really is. I left the room. At my desk, I found a padded envelope. Inside was a USB drive. No note. I inserted it into an isolated laptop. The drive contained security camera footage from Saturday morning. Logan entered my office at 8:41. Wade followed him. Wade sat at my computer. Logan held up his phone and read something aloud. Then Cheryl entered. She looked directly at the camera. She pointed upward. The video stopped 30 seconds later. Someone had disabled the recording, but not before all three of them were captured inside my locked office. I checked the USB metadata. The file had been exported by Tessa Monroe, our office administrator. I called her. She did not answer. That evening, she sent me one text. I can't lose my job. Don't contact me again. I copied the footage to Blue Room and gave another copy to my attorney, Rachel Stone. Rachel watched it twice. This proves access, she said. Not who sent the letter. It proves the people accusing you were inside your office before the letter was sent. What should I do? Resign. I can't. Why? 42 active projects rely on my license. Your father is using that responsibility to trap you. If I resign, the state may suspend operations. Yes, people will lose jobs. Rachel closed her laptop. Claire jobs are already being performed under fraudulent safety records. I need more evidence. You have a forged clearance letter. I need proof Dad knows. Why? Because if I confront him privately and he fixes it, Rachel stared at me. You still think this can be fixed privately? I looked away. She softened. Your father's company is not the same thing as your father. I know. No, you know the sentence. You don't believe it yet. The fourth battle involved hazardous waste manifests. Asbestos waste must be tracked from the job site to an approved disposal facility. Every bag, truck date, and destination has to be documented. Miguel called me at 5:30 one morning. We have a problem. What? Truck 7 never reached the landfill. Where is it? According to GPS, it went to the old quarry. The old quarry was private land, owned by my father's friend, Earl Maddox. You're sure? Yes. What was on the truck? 46 bags from Roosevelt. And 18 from the county courthouse. My stomach turned. You cannot dump asbestos at a quarry. I know. Who was driving? Logan. I drove to the office. Logan was already there drinking coffee. Where is truck 7? In the yard. Where was it last night? Landfill. The GPS shows the quarry. He shrugged. GPS is wrong. Do you have the disposal receipt? Wade does. Wade arrived 5 minutes later with a printed manifest. It listed the licensed landfill. The signature at the bottom belonged to an employee named Henry Boyd. I knew Henry. He had retired 3 months earlier. I called the landfill. They had not received our truck. Logan watched my face. You just can't stop, can you? Where is the waste? Disposed. Where? Properly. Then show me. He stepped closer. You want Dad to choose you. This has nothing to do with Dad. It has always been about Dad. No. This is about 64 bags of asbestos. He lowered his voice. You report this. The company is finished. So it happened. His expression changed, only for a second. Then he smiled. I didn't say that. Miguel entered through the side door. Logan turned toward him. You told her. Miguel said nothing. You think she'll protect you? Logan asked. She protects paperwork. I said Miguel leave. Logan laughed. See her, little soldier. Miguel took one step forward. I put a hand out. Number. He stopped. Logan wanted a fight. A physical confrontation would turn safety fraud into a story about aggression. I looked at him. Where is the waste? Ask Dad. I did. Dad met me in the yard. He did not deny it. The landfill raised its fee, he said. So you dumped asbestos at Earl's quarry? We stored it temporarily, in bags left outside. They're covered. That is illegal disposal. It will be moved. When? When cash flow improves. You forged the landfill receipt. Wade handled the form. You knew. Dad looked at me with tired contempt. You have spent your entire life waiting for me to disappoint you. I found asbestos waste at an unlicensed site. Do you hear yourself? No daughter, no father. Just regulation. Regulation is the only reason workers can't dump poison wherever you save money. He raised his voice. I gave you a career, and I gave your company a license. His face changed. I had said the forbidden truth. He pointed toward the office. Get out. Are you firing me? Not yet. Then put your instruction in writing. Cheryl was standing near the door, filming. Dad saw her. He lowered his voice. You see how she threatens me. I looked at the phone. Record the waste. Cheryl's eyes filled. You are sick. No. I am done being edited. She stopped recording. That evening, someone broke into Miguel's truck. His dash camera and work tablet disappeared. Nothing else was taken. The following morning, he was suspended for allegedly stealing company fuel. Wade produced card records showing purchases in towns Miguel had never visited. Miguel called me from the parking lot. They're framing me. I know. How do I prove it? Do you have your location history? Yes. Send it to Rachel. I'm not hiring a lawyer. You are now. I can't afford one. I'll cover it. He was silent. Then he said, That's what they'll say. What? That I'm your man. That we planned this. They'll say it anyway. The fuel purchases came from a duplicate card issued under Miguel's employee number. Security footage showed Logan picking it up from the fuel office. Wade called it a clerical mix-up. Miguel's suspension remained in place. The fifth battle happened at my father's 65th birthday. Cheryl rented a country club ballroom and invited employees, vendors, relatives, and clients. I almost did not go. Rachel told me to attend. Why? Because they are preparing something. How do you know? Cheryl sent a media release announcing a leadership transition. I wore a navy dress and carried no bag except a small recorder Rachel had instructed me to keep on my body. The ballroom displayed photographs from the company's history. Dad with his first truck. Logan on a school job. Cheryl receiving a community service award. There was one photograph of me. I was standing behind a table holding a clipboard. The caption read, Claire, supporting the team. 2017. After dinner, Dad took the stage. He thanked everyone. Then he called Logan up. My son represents the future of Hartwell Environmental. People applauded. Starting immediately, Logan will serve as president. More applause. Then Dad looked at me. And because every company must make difficult decisions, Claire will no longer oversee operations. The room became quiet. Cheryl stood near the stage with her phone raised. Dad continued. My daughter is intelligent. But intelligence without loyalty becomes obstruction. A few people nodded. He said I had delayed projects, created fear, damaged relationships, attacked family members. Then he smiled sadly. Sometimes the person holding the clipboard forgets who built the company. Logan stepped forward, carrying a small cardboard box. He handed it to me. Inside were a stapler, pens, blank folders, and a coffee mug that said, World's Best Paper Pusher. A few people laughed. I looked at Dad. Am I terminated? He hesitated. Cheryl whispered something from the side of the stage. Dad said, You are terminated from all executive and operational responsibilities. What about my licensed qualifying role? The room did not understand the question. Dad did. His smile weakened. We'll handle that separately. Number. Cheryl stepped forward. Claire, tonight is not the place. It became the place when you fired me publicly. Dad's face reddened. You are no longer part of this company in any capacity. Yes. I looked at Logan. He smiled. I looked at Cheryl. She was filming. Then I looked back at Dad. Thank you for clarifying. I took the box and walked out. At 9:14 that night, Rachel filed my formal withdrawal as Hartwell Environmental's qualifying supervisor. At 9:22, we notified the state that my digital seal and credentials had been used without authorization. At 9:31, we submitted the forged Cedar Grove clearance letter, the office footage, the quarry GPS records, the false landfill manifest, and copies of my written objections. At 10:05, Dana Cho called. We need to discuss immediate suspension. I understand. Your company has active school and hospital projects. I know. If we suspend the license, work stops. I know. Are you certain you are no longer able to supervise? My father fired me from every role in front of witnesses. Dana was silent. Then she asked, Did he know withdrawal would follow? Yes. Why would he do it? Because he believed I would keep accepting legal responsibility after losing authority. The next morning, the state issued an emergency hold. At 3:15, every active regulated project was frozen. At 4:02, inspectors entered the warehouse. My father began calling. By 5 o'clock, Cheryl was live streaming. She stood outside the closed gate while employees gathered behind her. My husband's daughter has weaponized a technical license to destroy 40 years of work, she cried. Dad stood beside her. Logan looked furious. Cheryl continued. We begged Claire to separate family conflict from employee livelihoods. She refused. Employees began posting my photograph. Someone shared my home address. A man I had never met left a voicemail saying women like me destroyed American businesses. Dad appeared on local television. He said I fired an employee for insubordination. She retaliated by calling the state. That was clever. It made the sequence simple. Firing. Revenge. Shut down. It removed everything before the stage. The failed samples, the false clearance, the forged vendor, the quarry, the missing manifests, the stolen camera. The state scheduled an emergency hearing. Before it occurred, my family launched the 6th attack. They reported me to police for stealing company files and blackmailing my father. Detective Sean Miller met me at Rachel's office. Your father says you threatened to shut down the company unless he gave you ownership. I did not. He has an audio recording. The recording played. My voice said, if you remove my authority, I will withdraw my license and the company will stop. It sounded terrible because the beginning was missing. Rachel asked, where was this recorded? At the company yard, I remembered. The full conversation had been about the quarry waste. I had said, if you continue illegal disposal and remove my authority to stop it, I will withdraw my license and the company will stop. The first 13 words had been removed. Do you have the original? Detective Miller asked. Yes. Dad had recorded the conversation on Cheryl's phone, but Miguel had also recorded it. He had been standing in the maintenance bay with his phone running after the break-in. Rachel played the full file. The detective listened twice. This changes the meaning. That was the point, Rachel said. Police closed the blackmail complaint. Then Dana Cho's investigators found the asbestos bags at Earl's quarry. Several had torn open. Rainwater had carried debris toward a drainage ditch. That turned the administrative case into a criminal environmental investigation. My father blamed Logan. Logan blamed Wade. Wade claimed he only prepared papers based on information from the field. Cheryl said she knew nothing about waste disposal. Then Tessa Monroe contacted me. The office administrator who had sent the USB had resigned. She met Rachel and me at a diner outside Charlotte. She looked exhausted. I have more files, she said. What kind? Emails, videos, audio. Why didn't you come sooner? My husband is sick. I need insurance. What changed? Cheryl fired me anyway. For what? She said I had divided loyalties. Tessa placed a second USB drive on the table. It contained the complete history. Cheryl's emails planning the campaign against me. Wade's messages asking how to apply my digital seal. Logan's texts saying, once Claire looks unstable, nobody will believe the clearance complaint. Another message from Cheryl said, we need her fired publicly before the state hears from her. Retaliation is easier to explain than fraud. My father replied, she won't pull the license. She cares too much about the workers. I read that sentence 3 times. He knew. He knew exactly what would happen if I withdrew. He fired me because he believed my conscience would force me to remain legally responsible for a company where I had no authority. Tessa also had security video from the waste yard. It showed Logan directing Truck 7 into the quarry. Wade handed Earl Maddox an envelope. My father arrived 20 minutes later. He inspected the bags. He did not look surprised. Cheryl's car appeared in the final frame. Every person who had called me unstable had visited the illegal dump. At the hearing, the room was packed. Employees sat behind my father. Parents from Cedar Grove sat on the other side. Reporters stood near the doors. Dana Cho presented the state's evidence. Failed air tests. The forged school clearance. Unauthorized use of my seal. The quarry waste. False disposal manifests. Vendor payments. Retaliation against Miguel. My father's attorney argued that I had orchestrated the shutdown to seize the company. Then Cheryl testified. She wore white. She cried softly. She admitted editing the video clips, but said she had been trying to protect employee morale. She admitted entering my office, but said she had been looking for birthday photographs. She admitted visiting the quarry, but claimed Dad told her it was a temporary storage site. Then Logan testified. He said I routinely allowed him to use my digital credentials. Dana asked, what was her password? He froze. I don't remember. You used it routinely. She logged in for me. Then she did not give you the password. She approved things verbally. Did she approve the Cedar Grove clearance letter? Yes. Dana displayed my call log. At the exact time the letter was sent, I had been speaking with the school principal, warning her not to reopen. Logan shifted. She changed her mind. Dana displayed the security video. He and Wade were in my office before the email was sent. Cheryl entered seconds later. The courtroom became quiet. Then Miguel testified. He presented the full recording of my conversation with Dad. My complete sentence played. If you continue illegal disposal and remove my authority to stop it, I will withdraw my license and the company will stop. The edited version played next. If you remove my authority, I will withdraw my license, and the company will stop. The manipulation was obvious. My father stared at the table. Tessa testified last. She explained the public firing plan. Dana displayed Cheryl's message. We need her fired publicly before the state hears from her. Retaliation is easier to explain than fraud. Then she displayed Dad's response. She won't pull the license. She cares too much about the workers. My father's attorney asked for a recess. The hearing officer denied it. Dana called me. Why did you withdraw your license? She asked. Because I was fired from every company role. Did you intend to cause a shutdown? I intended to stop accepting responsibility for work I could not supervise. Did you know operations could be suspended? Yes. Why not remain temporarily to protect employees? I looked at the workers behind my father. Some were angry. Some looked ashamed. Miguel sat near the aisle with his hands folded. I answered carefully. Because remaining would not have protected them. It would have protected the people using their labor under false documents. My father stood. This is my company. The hearing officer ordered him to sit. He looked at me. You could have fixed this privately. I tried. When? Roosevelt. He said nothing. The missing bonus. Silence. Cedar Grove. Silence. The quarry. Silence. Every time I told you no was a chance to fix it privately. His face tightened. You always wanted to be the only one who mattered. Number. I looked directly at him. I wanted the safety results to matter more than whoever stood on the stage. The state permanently revoked Hartwell Environmental's operating license. The company could no longer perform regulated asbestos or lead abatement work. Several active contracts were terminated. The bank froze accounts after learning financial records had been falsified. The insurer denied coverage connected to the quarry disposal. Hartwell Environmental filed for bankruptcy 4 months later. My father lost the warehouse. Logan lost the truck Cheryl had purchased through the fake vendor. Wade was charged with financial fraud and falsifying regulated records. Logan pleaded guilty to illegal hazardous waste disposal and the unauthorized use of professional credentials. Cheryl was charged with evidence tampering and obstruction. My father accepted responsibility for the false manifests and illegal storage arrangement. He served 8 months in a minimum security facility. Some people thought that was too little. Others thought it was too much. I stopped measuring justice by how much pain he received. I measured it by how many buildings reopened only after they were actually safe. The employees did lose their jobs. That never felt satisfying. Miguel and I contacted every licensed environmental contractor in the region. Within 3 months, most field workers had found new positions. Tessa joined a medical equipment company. The fuel accusation against Miguel was formally withdrawn. Cedar Grove hired an independent contractor to complete the cleaning. The kindergarten wing passed every test. No child was exposed. I started a small consulting firm called Clearmark Environmental. We did not remove asbestos. We reviewed companies that did. Our clients hired us to verify containment plans, air testing procedures, disposal records, and professional certifications. Miguel became our field compliance director. Rachel handled our contracts. Dana Cho never became my friend exactly, but she referred several organizations that needed independent safety reviews. A year after the shutdown, I received a letter from my father. The first page blamed Logan. The second blamed Cheryl. The third blamed financial pressure. On the fourth page, he wrote, I should not have fired you in public. That was the closest he came to understanding. He still believed the public humiliation was the central mistake. It wasn't. The stage only made his private belief visible. He believed my authority was decorative. He believed my license belonged to the family. He believed my conscience was a company asset. He believed he could remove my voice while keeping my signature. I did not respond. Months later, Logan called. He was working for a demolition contractor that did not allow him near regulated materials. I passed a safety course, he said. That's good. It was harder than I thought. Most things are. He was quiet. Then he said, "Did you hate me?" Sometimes. He inhaled. At the hearing, I mostly felt tired. I thought you wanted Dad's company. I wanted Dad's company to stop lying. We thought you were trying to control everything. You used my name on documents I never saw. I know. Control would have been knowing what I was supposedly approving. He did not argue. That was new. I'm sorry, he said. I believed he meant it. Believing an apology did not require me to restore access. We speak occasionally now. Carefully. He asks before discussing Dad. I decide whether to answer. 2 years after the company closed, Clearmark received a contract to review an elementary school renovation. The project manager handed me a stack of records. I'm sorry, he said. It's a lot of paperwork. I looked at the containment plan lab schedule worker certifications and disposal requirements. No, I said. This is the work. He smiled as if I had made a joke. I hadn't. Paperwork had become my family's favorite insult because paper did not look dangerous. It did not wear a respirator. It did not drive a truck. It did not lift contaminated material. But a laboratory report could tell you whether a hallway was safe. A signature could determine whether children entered a clean classroom. A disposal manifest could prove whether poison reached a landfill or a drainage ditch. Paper was where invisible danger became visible responsibility. My father called me useless because he could not see the hazard I prevented. Then the state shut down his company because it finally saw everything he had hidden. People sometimes say I destroyed Hartwell Environmental by withdrawing my license. They are wrong. The company was destroyed every time someone forged a result, moved money, edited a recording, punished a witness, or treated safety as an obstacle to profit. I did not create the collapse. I stopped signing my name beneath it. And that was the lesson my father understood too late. When people call your integrity useless, they are usually afraid of what will happen when you stop lending it to them.